Okay, so I have two questions for you. Raise your hand if you're here today because you want to know how to get more direct bookings. And raise your hand again if you want to know how to get more direct bookings and without spending all your time on social media. Great. Okay. So today I'm going to give you our business model framework that doesn't rely on online travel agencies. I'm also going to give you a 5-point plan to improve your social media so you get more return on your time investment. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to get more help if you're ready to go forwards with that. So, who the heck's Yvonne Halling? So, in 2000, I opened a B&B in the Champagne region of France. My husband was working for a little champagne company that you may have heard of called Moet. And to be honest with you, I was home alone with our two little girls and a little bit bored. So we opened a B&B in the Champagne region, and it was just a hobby. People came from time to time. We didn't rely on the money, so we opened when we wanted, and we closed when we didn't want anybody to come. But all that changed. In 2004, my husband lost his job at Moet, and we closed the B&B, and we went back to the UK in search of more new opportunities. So we opened a business, and we started importing champagne back from France from our friends, and we set up the business online. And we spent a fortune on a bespoke website and all of the back-end admin system and everything that goes with an online business. But to be honest with you, being in business, coming from a corporate background with all of the consequential thinking patterns that we pick up when we work for somebody else, and coupled with learning how to run an online business, it was way over our heads. And so that business kind of fizzled out. So then we started another business, doing champagne tastings and champagne gifts and champagne events for big banks and financial institutions in South Manchester, where we were living at the time. So you can imagine what happened in the crash of 2008, right? Gone. So by this time, we were gone through all of our money, all of our redundancy money, all of our savings. We were living in a rented house. My husband was slipping into a depression because he had gone from a really high-paying, prestigious job with a blue-chip company like Moet to not being able to support his family. The final straw came in September 2009 when the house that we were living in the UK burned down. So now we were homeless. A friend offered us a caravan. We lived in that caravan for 4 months. And as we huddled around our little Christmas tree in Christmas 2009, wondering what the heck had happened to us, we decided that we'd go back to France because I knew that if all else failed, I could reopen the B&B. So January 2010, we borrowed some money from family and we went back to our home in France. And it was just, the hobby thing again, and guests were coming and then they weren't coming, and then we didn't have enough money to pay the gas bill, so the gas got cut off. It was desperate. And then, another breaking point. In March 2010, I answered a knock at the door to find the bailiffs here to repossess our home in France. You couldn't make this up, could you? So I don't know if you've ever had a moment where you thought to yourself, I can't go on like this. Something's got to change. Well, I had one of those moments right there. And I knew that I had to do something. I knew that I had to make my B&B work to make enough money to support us and to keep food on the table and to keep my home. And I made a decision that I set a goal to make 40,000 euros that year. And I worked. I got to work. And I started by asking around local B&B businesses to see what they were doing to make money. And they just said, list with booking.com and you'll be fine. They didn't really understand it either. So I knew I wasn't going to get any help from them. But have you ever had one of those moments when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? Well, one night I was on the internet doing what any normal human would do, looking for information, studying marketing and business principles that I had no idea about. And all of a sudden I was listening to this guru talking about stuff, and all of a sudden I could see a way, light bulbs started to go off in my head, and I could see a way that I could make my B&B work to make me 40,000 euros that year. And of course, I'd like to tell you that it was all plain sailing after that, but of course it wasn't. I struggled with learning the stuff. I struggled with the marketing principles and the business strategies, but the thing that I struggled with most was what was going on in my head, all of that head stuff. Could I do it? Did I have the intelligence? Did I have the ability to do it? But I pushed through, and I hired a mentor who could show me what to do, in what order, at the right time. And by the time we closed at Christmas in December 2010, I didn't make 40,000 euros. I made 51,195, and the following year I made 103,495 euros. Would you like to know how I did it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Great, okay. I did it without booking.com either, none of those guys, all on my own and with just 4 rooms. So in 2013, I set up Bed and Breakfast Coach to help other owners who were struggling with the same things. I was on the forums, mostly on LinkedIn at the time, and they were asking the kind of questions that I'd already got the answers to. In 2014, I created the B&B Moneymaker Business Transformation Program, where we help clients to add at least 25% to their business in one season without working harder. And this is just some of the clients' results that we've had recently. Caroline in the UK is on track to increase her business by 60% this year. Karen in the USA got 32 room nights booked with one offer that she sent out, creating over $6,000 in revenue. Kelty in Canada tripled her business in 1 year. So, this is the framework for the fastest and smartest way to start, run and grow a hospitality business anywhere in the world. It works for B&Bs, it works for guest houses, it works for inns, that's what they're called in the US. It works for serviced accommodation, it works for holiday complexes. This is the strategy. So let's go through each one in turn. Strategy is everything about your online presence. Everything about branding, messaging, what you say, the promise that you make, how you look online, including your social media, how you present yourself online, and the promise that you make. Structure is about everything that happens offline at your property, how you deliver on that strategy that you promised in the online messaging. How do you present yourself? How do you take care of yourself, your guests, your money, and your team? Offline. When you've got that in place, you can then turn to your business engine, which is your 3 systems. Your system to attract new guests, your system to upsell to your booked-in guests, and your system to attract more bookings, more repeat business from your past guests. This is essentially your engine of the business. This is missing so much. I see this so much when I'm working with clients around the world. Hardly anybody has this engine in place. That's why the online travel agents, it's the number one reason the online travel agents have become so powerful, because they understand the database. They understand the power of the database, and owners don't, even to this day. When you've got those 3 goodies in place, you can then turn your attention to scale, which is creating more products and services that light you up. So adding more revenue streams to your business that will help you to make more money, have more fun, and delight your guests, and delight yourself, and have a great life. And who doesn't want more of that, right? So this is the framework for a successful hospitality business anywhere in the world. Let's start with strategy. The first thing that we take our clients through, the first thing that we do before they do anything else, is to decide who is your product for. Who is your ideal guest? It's no longer possible to just welcome anybody. Back in the day when I started in 2000, before the internet, we would just hang a sign outside. and say vacancies, and we just wait for people to walk by or phone up, knock on the door. You can't do that anymore. We've got the online world, and if you're trying to do that on the online world, in fact the equivalent of that in the online world is sticking your property on booking.com. That's only going to get you so far. This is a combination of three elements: where your property is located, where it is in the world, why people are coming to your area, and what you love to talk about, what you're interested in. If you're interested in deep sea fishing and you've got a property in the French Alps, that's going to be really difficult for you to talk about your passion with the guests who are coming for a completely different reason. Make sure that wherever you buy your property or wherever you're situated, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, this is a person-to-person business. This is a personal service business. Even if you're managing lots of properties, you still need to be able to talk confidently about your area, at least your area, and if possible, a particular aspect of your area. What we did in Champagne, of course, it was obvious, right? We talked about Champagne. My husband worked at Moet. We knew a lot about Champagne. However, you may not know this, in Champagne, it's not only famous, in the region of Champagne, it's not only famous for the bubbly, it's actually a World War I site. We're on the Marne, and next door is the Somme, where there are masses of monuments and cemeteries and experiences and museums dedicated to World War I. And there are millions of visitors who come every year to, check out their family graves, their cemeteries and stuff. But I didn't welcome any of those guys. I can't talk about World War I. It wouldn't interest me, and I know nothing about it. So I had to match what we love to talk about with why people were coming to the area in relation to where we were situated. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's really, really important to get that right. Know who your product is for, because when you've got that piece right, you've got a point of differentiation that no one else has got. And then you can own that space. It's yours. Nobody can take that away from you because it's part of you. Okay. When you look like this, there's no point of differentiation. And there is one point of differentiation, and that's price. Because when you're listed like this, you're not allowed to put your personality. The bots are writing your description for you, and you cannot put your personality or your point of differentiation there. So you'll only be chosen on price. And that is a really bad place to be. I'm sure that you all know that. Really bad place to be. And the online travel agents have done a brilliant job of brainwashing the public into thinking that they've got the best deals, the best discounts, the best rates, when we all know here that they don't, right? But they've done such a great job of brainwashing the public that the public now are kind of geared up to look for deals, to look for discounts. However, that is slowly fading away because people, in a survey that was done recently by Skift, and also in another hospitality magazine that I read a couple of years ago, people aren't just looking for price. They are looking for a deeper connection to themselves and to the world around them. They're looking for an experience now. So and that's where smaller owners like us in this room here, independent owners like everyone in this room here, can really score when you really nail down your point of differentiation. If you take nothing else away from this presentation, I want you to think about how you can elevate yourself up into the expert or specialist status, because let me ask you, who gets paid more, the GP or the heart surgeon? Right? Experts and specialists always get paid more in every field. So find a way to nail down your point of differentiation so that you can elevate your status in the eyes of your guests, so that you can charge more for the value that you bring. Lead with your value, not your prices. Because there's only so far you can go when you're in a price war, right? And everyone thinks, I mean, it's just human nature, I guess, but many people think that if you need more bookings, you have to drop your prices. So don't do that. Elevate your value so you're not dropping your prices. Direct bookings don't just happen because you've got a button on your website or because you're shouting about it on social media. Direct bookings happen when you put that plan in place so that you are leading with your value, claiming your point of differentiation, so that people can start to get to know you. So let's go back to the framework again, and let's go back to social media. So here's 5 things that you can do to improve your social media to attract more direct bookings. Number 1, people don't go to Facebook and to social media because they want to be sold to. So do not sell on social media. People go to Amazon and they go to Google if they want to buy something. They're not going to Facebook or any of the social media platforms to buy stuff. They're going there for education, entertainment, and engagement, which means talking. That's what they go there for. So keep that in mind when you go, and I'm particularly talking about Facebook, but it's true across all platforms. They're not really looking to buy. They have to know you, like you, and trust you before they will buy from you on social media. Trying to sell on social media is like asking for sex on the first date. You may get lucky, but you probably won't. So here's your 5-point plan. Step 1, the platforms. Understanding the platforms. Let's start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform for your business connections, for making connections with partners, people that you want to work with in your area, not for getting guests, okay? We're not selling anything. Your profile should lead the way on LinkedIn. So spruce up your profile and say what you do. I can't tell you the number of people who connect with me on LinkedIn have got no picture. I mean, how am I going to have a conversation or a relationship with somebody who's not even going to show me their face? Instagram, stories and videos and pictures, great platform for that. YouTube, obviously, videos, right? So put your hand up, raise your hand if you've got a YouTube channel. Come on. Twitter, great platform for journalists. Journalists are on Twitter looking for people who will write their articles for them. Go there and find them. And I put Facebook in the middle because Facebook is your starting point. There are 3 billion people logging into Facebook 24/7. And Facebook is like one huge networking event. If you can imagine one huge networking event, or a great big house, right? A really, really big house. And within that house, or within Facebook, you've got lots of rooms, lots of smaller rooms, which are called Facebook groups. That's when you've got your point of differentiation, you know what guests that you want to welcome. You can go to the groups in Facebook and you can become a member of that group and have conversations with people, not selling. Just go to find your groups and have conversations. Facebook is your starting point. And then when you've been in the groups and you've established yourself in the group and you're commenting and you're adding value, allowing your profile to do the selling for you, people will ask to be your friend, you connect with them, and then you can go and follow them around social media. Go and like their YouTube video. Go and be friend and make a connection on Instagram. See if they're on Twitter. See if they're on LinkedIn. Follow them around. But Facebook is your starting point, and the groups in particular are where you need to be. Number 2, set up shop. Make sure that your branding, your online branding and your messaging and your profile is consistent across all channels. Again, I see this all the time. I don't know who you are. When I go on your website looks nothing like your social media. So how do I know if I'm on the right profile? How do I know that I'm with the right person if you don't look consistent across your online platforms? Make sure that your branding and messaging are following you around the internet. And with a picture, of course. Not having a picture on your social media is like showing up to a networking event with a box on your head. No one's going to talk to you. You're not going to make many friends either. Step 2, go hunting. I put hunting, but actually it's farming, I think. So when I say go to the groups, post in the groups, comment on their posts, make friends with people, follow people around, and make sure that you're building your social media network all of the time. The more people who know who you are and what you do, the more people who can recommend you. Because everybody's always looking, right? Everybody's always looking on social media. And people want to know things. If I was to say on social media, on one of my profiles or one of my posts, I would say, I'm going to stay in the Isle of Skye next week. Who do you know who's got some nice accommodation? You need to be in their minds. When people are asking for recommendations for your properties in your area, you need to be in the top of their minds. So make sure you're building your social network as big as you can. Big as you can. Educate, entertain, engage, and have conversations with people. I know this sounds like maybe a lot of effort, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to spend all that time on social media. It will repay you massively. If you just invest that time and effort a little bit up front, it will massively, because it takes on a life of its own. Make friends and have conversations. Let me ask you this, who would you rather be friends with out of these two people? The lady on the left, top left, or this person here? This person owns a B&B, would you believe it? You'd have no idea, would you? Yet June over here, she's very specific. You know exactly what she does. You know exactly where she is, and there's a lovely picture of her with her husband here. This person here is not open for business, not open to connections. And I've heard so many people say, oh, well, I want to keep business separate from my personal life. If you want to do that, then set up another account with your dog or something, because business is personal. This is hospitality, right? This is a hospitality industry. It's personal. Step 4, post often. People say to me, oh, I don't know what to post about. Okay, here's what you post about. Your area. Post about your area. Don't post so much about you and your property. Post about your area. If you've got any celebrities coming to your area, if you've got any events going on in your area, you've got any local businesses that you're recommending, post about them, tag them, make sure that you're involving your whole community in this, so that people will then recommend you and go and post about you and share your post because they're tagged in it. Don't forget, as human beings, we're only interested in ourselves. So if when you're tagging somebody else, they'll go and share for you as well because they're interested in what you're saying about them. It's all ego, right? If you can do video is so powerful on social media, not just for YouTube, but for Facebook as well. These are some of my clients who are doing their entertaining bit, the funny it is, on social media. Just having fun and being themselves and saying who they are, what they represent, and who they welcome. So step 5, be yourself and be careful. I recommend that you don't post your political posts on social media. Somebody's always watching you. If you do have a strong political affiliation, set up another account with a different name, or just don't do it on your business. Don't do it on your business page. Don't do it on your profile either. You don't want to be dividing people. We don't want to be divisive on social media. We want to be inclusive. So be very careful what you post about. Don't do your ranting. Don't complain about your guests. Don't do any of that on social media, because somebody will see it, and then they'll diminish what they think of you. Whoops, what's that? Okay, the primary goal of social media is to get people on your email list, because you can't take likes and comments to the bank. Your email list, your database, is your most precious asset. So the purpose of all this activity on social media is to get people on your email list where they're yours. They're yours. Okay, so what we covered. I showed you our business model framework that works for any hospitality business anywhere in the world that doesn't rely on online travel agents. I gave you 5 things to do to improve your social media profile, why it matters and what you should be doing. And if you want to get more help, please go to this page, which is mbd-resources, bit.ly, mbd resources. And on this page, you'll find 4 things that you can take advantage of for just being in the room today and for listening to me. Top left, you can get a free copy of my ebook, which is how to add 25% to your income in one season without working harder. It's 126 pages, jam-packed of all. It tells you all of my strategy, the whole framework, lays it all out. Top right, if you want to take it further, you want to talk to me, then go and book a consultation with me or come and see me afterwards. I'll be happy to talk to you about your situation. Bottom left, you can join my Facebook group, which is called the Bed and Breakfast Owners Group, where there's lots of great conversation, lots of engagement, lots of wisdom and experience in that group. And finally, bottom right here, we are launching a direct bookings app very soon. Can't tell you too much about that, It's going to rock your world. So if you want to get on the waiting list for that, then click through to that and put your name and email address and check the consent box, and then we will be able to keep you informed when we launch our app. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?